So yeah, the idea behind this, let's just go through it and think it through. And then what we'll end up with is hopefully a recommendation from the algorithm that will tell us which one you should go for, which will be interesting if it recommends one that you didn't want to target. But also, once we move on from that in the act and test phase, it's like we're going to choose one or many of these jobs to specifically target. What are we going to do to close off these gaps and to make it better, and to test and iterate to make sure that, you know, if the all of this stuff here, these facets are real facets, and that people do care about it, and that if we actually change something, it makes it better. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
Yeah, let's do it. And may I ask you one question, which I just want to ask you until still it's top of my mind. There's one thing which I think about, like my course, and I was seeing your thing, and I was like, huh, that's clever. You know, I'm sure there are some people who land on my site and they check like, oh, 200 is basically the minimum price point. It's like too much for me, too big of a commitment. I don't want this. And I saw like you did a really good job, I think, of that 45-day trial I think you have on your website, which was like a cool little thing. And I know some people will have like, hey, put your email here and get like a little free thing. Do you have like, what's your experience with that 45-day trial thing? And like, do you have any ideas basically how I could capture like those people who are like, this is too much, and then like, boom, hit them with something more approachable?
Yeah, what you've got to think about is, so the reason I put that trial on there was because I was, again, I put a WhatsApp for Business number up, and I just let people message me, and I'd sort of interact with people and try and work out not what are you asking, but like, what is it that you really want? Like, because people ask a question, but they don't want the answer to the question. They want something else that they just didn't frame up. And a lot of it is, can I trust this? You know, like, is this for me? And should I spend my money on it? Now, I've thought about, you could do free trials and things like this. I think we've talked about this many times. Whenever I've discounted or given this stuff away, and I did it once where I made it $10, and I went to bed and I woke up and I had all of these complaints from people who'd spent $10 on it about how crap it was, and how like I'd ripped them off, and I'm just like, I'm refunding every single one of you and I'm deleting this thing here.
I see.
So you make somebody pay, because then you get people who actually have intent. You know, if I'm paying $50, at least it's like, it's a meaningful amount of money, but it's also, you know, not a huge amount of money. It's kind of try before you buy. And if they upgrade during the 7-day trial, then they get a prorated refund. So like, if you join on day one, you pay $49, you have a look around and you like it and you upgrade immediately, you didn't pay $49. You just, because I give you the $49 off the whole course. Whereas if you spend all 7 days in there, then you effectively paid $7 a day in addition to the price of the course, if that makes sense.
Okay, understood. Yeah.
So the idea behind it was that there was a load of people who were still, you know, in spite of all the copy tightening and all the tweaks and stuff, they still didn't trust it, or they didn't know whether it was for them or not. And so I'm like, well, if you don't know, then pay for this. And you know, then your downside's $49. If you do like it after you join, then upgrade as quickly as possible so that you don't waste $7 a day practicing. But I could do that because the content that we've got, you know, you could, if you wanted to, like if I did it, I could join my course on the $49 trial, get through it and pass in a week. But that's me. The average person's not going to want to go and do
that's content heavy. There's quite a lot.
Yeah, there is, and some stuff is gated so that, you know, the quizzes, people would just spam the hell out of them. So there's a limit to the number of quiz questions that they can access, because that's where a lot of the value comes from. So it's kind of, I'm not giving you the whole thing in the trial, because if you want the whole thing, you're going to pay for it, right? And so it's kind of trying to make sure that people are given the opportunity to come in and see and get enough experience to make a more informed choice that this is right or wrong. And then that's it.
I guess okay, understood. I think that's not for me. I guess something that I could probably do in future is something like a free email series, but basically where whatever you either buy or you join the email series where I will like try to convince you over whatever 10 days and send you some emails, and that could just run on autopilot, and some people might be convinced and they, yeah, this is for me. Basically like a long ass sales letter every single day, try to convince people more, and people who buy, who don't buy.
Yeah, and I think what you could do with this research is turn this into like a quiz or some sort of choose your own adventure type thing, where you ask a bunch of questions to see what context is somebody in, and then like if they're on a healthy hobby journey, then they get an email sequence that talks all about how these are nice ways of relax, and it's going to help you do this and all this. Whereas if I'm trying to do it for social media, it's my journey going from no followers to 30,000 followers and what I've learned.
That's really smart. That's really smart. It's a lot of work, but I think this could be worth implementing for sure.
Yeah, like all of this stuff, like I said, the sort of test and act phase are things that you're going to do, and there's obviously stuff that you must do right now, and then there's stuff that it took me about a year to layer this up and to understand what people really wanted. I've done the research. So we, immediately we started to smack it out of the park in terms of this was much better. It was definitely talking to what people wanted. But then you've got to keep kind of spinning around and saying, like, how do I make this as idiot proof as possible? And the minute you think you've made something idiot proof, the universe just sends you a better idiot. And so it's kind of whatever. It's my job to try and like I've said before, I can't control who joins and what they're doing and what they know, but I want to control the outcome. So therefore, it's on me to sort the messy process in the middle out to get to a point where like anybody at any skill level can join and still leave with the same outcome. Which it is as hard as
this is good. Thank you. This was super useful. I think that's definitely the direction where I could go, and then I can also like use it in my newsletter and just, hey, if you're interested, click here, and then they automatically get in that sequence and might be more convinced. Awesome. This is great. Awesome stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's fire through.
People like quizzes as well. I find that you think the value of a quiz is the outcome. But actually, I think a lot of people get value from being asked questions that maybe they.
For sure. I like quizzes. You ask me questions, I'm like, ooh, Neil is curious.
That's it. Like I don't know. We're all hardwired. A question is I think.
I know there is this. I recently started to follow this British entrepreneur. I think Daniel Priestley. I think he has this Score app thing which is going on. I think he's big on quizzes. Obviously his product, he's incentivized to promote quizzes, but seems he's doing well. So yeah, for sure, I agree. Quizzing could be nice.
Yeah,
sweet.
And this stuff's easy to build because, as you're about to see, this quiz is entirely created by Lovable. So all good. So yeah, hopefully you've spent a bit of time thinking about this, but what we've got now, so this is the social media reach, struggle with a lack of artistic talent. I want to learn the basics, and it's all about capturing attention and building an audience and a new visual identity. And the ranking here I've pulled in this time. So now we've got for these guys, we think it's pretty important. They're taking their first steps. They want to learn by doing, experimenting, and playing around. So this is more about doing something on my own and less about doing something with a teacher there looking over my shoulder or asking me questions.
I would say, in my opinion, we are in a pretty good shape. As always, definitely place for improvement. Maybe there could be some additional module on like brand and stuff like that, which I would need to figure out. Which could be interesting for folks, but I would say there's a lot of content and I believe plenty of students have proved that pretty much on their own they can figure shit out. Obviously, it's super helpful when they do the feedback sessions. It's kind of, it is harder to make this work if they don't do feedback sessions, but yeah, I think we're in a good spot. It's not something I would now go and try to fix immediately or improve, because I think we're in a good state and there's probably other things to improve. So I put like 4, or what do we need to put here? Higher or lower?
Yeah, one is there's no gap.
Yeah.
Mark, and 5 is that like nobody could do this. So yeah, no gap, or
well, put the next one after no gap. Yeah, because certainly place for improvement, but pretty good state for sure.
Okay, so if we were going to improve it, it's about helping people. Like the existing course is fine, but you might add something to help people develop their own visual brand or identity. Is that what you're saying or not?
Well, there's 2 things which I would one would be maybe a module on brand, and another thing which I think some people might lack is, here's a checklist for you to have a solid thing. Step 1, whatever, learn how to make visuals. Step 2, figure out your brand colors and stuff. Step 3, strategy. Just a little bit more like, hey, look at this, follow this checklist. Just a little bit more structure, because currently it is a bit like woovy and all over the place, and the focus is on visuals. So that would be 2 things which I would probably do.
Okay. And then in terms of the effort to do this, I think if that was me, that's interesting. This one signs itself immediately at moderate rather than easy or hard. Doesn't sound like it'd be too hard to do. Is it a 2 or a 1?
I don't know, comparing to what, it's probably like, if I would focus 1 full day on this, I could probably deliver on it. Okay. No, let's put 2, because when it comes to branding, I don't feel like massive expert. It seems like that would be something where I would need to level up a little bit, and then kind of bring it to my world and create some sort of module or something.
Okay. No problem. And on this, like stuff like this, if it's low importance, obviously, if it's low importance, you might not do anything at all because there's bigger fish to fry. But B, if like before you put a course together and learn on this stuff, is it possible to curate some other content, put it somewhere, see how people engage with it or don't engage with it, and then if nobody's interested in the curated list, there's no point in building your own content for it anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it makes sense. Like all this journey, it's like, it makes me think I'm like still a bit torn. We have these 3 things and like 3 landing pages. Oh my God, so much work. At the same time, I feel like with the current landing page, I would probably sell them with a simpler landing page, and by cutting some features, which is similar to what you did, because like more stuff overwhelms people. So it's like, like still need to figure out how to approach all of this.
You can give them all the features. It's just you don't tell them about them beforehand. So if I've got 100 things that my application does, and you want 3 of them, I should talk about the 3 and shut about the other 97. When you join, you might then like the other 97 or whatever, right? But you're not buying it of them. So therefore, if I'm talking about them, people start to have those anxieties of, oh, that seems like it's got too much stuff. Like maybe I need something simpler or cheaper. So that's just my experience. Okay, so in this case here, they're not bothered about learning the tools because they're taking the first steps, or they're less bothered. So I think probably not a gap at all, right? They're given that they're not that interested in it. You've got enough on there with your Figma.
Yeah, there is some stuff. I never promote it as a big crazy thing, and if it's 2, I think it's good. And I would rather not. Like I really do try to. It's part of the thing. Like, hey folks, it's not about the tools. It's about this other thing. But of course, as you say, it's nice that oh, I love what Giannis told here, but now I want to learn Procreate and I have the resource for that. Of course, that would be great. But in general, yeah, NA, whatever. Let's keep crushing.
And the thing is, like, if you go about developing something to teach tools like the Remarkable tablet that I use or whatever, you should do it for one of the jobs where it matters, and then just put it in the course, and then it's better for everybody anyway. If they want to learn it, they can go and learn it. If they don't, and again, in the marketing messaging, we just don't tell people who aren't interested because they're not interested. Okay, so this is unimportant, learning the process, so there's no gap anyway. That's annoying. Sorry, I've just hit the side of the mouse. No gap. No, okay, cool. At least it saved that. Yeah, I test this on my laptop, and then I start using it on my on a big machine with a mouse, and suddenly you're like, oh, hang on, what works on one doesn't work on another. Right. So this one here is all about this. So I'm joining this because I want to get other people to stop their scrolling and to pay attention to an idea or thought in a way that has captured my attention. So therefore, I want to capture somebody else. How well do you think your course teaches people how to do that? At the moment, obviously, it's all about an idea, but
this is a tricky one because essentially the idea here is there's like two layers. There's the work, and then there's the algorithm, the hacking, the tactics, how to get reach and stuff like that. I think for the idea part, we are really good because these visuals, I always push people, let's make them clear so it clicks like in a split second. Even if your credibility is super low, people might stop, they might get value, they might hit like, check out who you are. So we are doing really good at that sphere. When it comes to like social media reach, I don't know. Those algorithms change. I don't fucking care. I hate all that stuff. I like to focus on the work, and we are producing work that theoretically works. Sure, like 2 years ago, we were absolutely crushing on Instagram. Now new users go on Instagram and it's like doesn't get because Instagram prioritizes reels and stuff. It doesn't mean the work is bad. It was just like algorithms change, but this stuff still works. It's kind of timeless in a sense. And when it comes to the top layer, I would really love to not spend time and learn about the algorithms because I feel you need to be up to date and it's such a drag and crap place to be. But what I am doing and what I really want to make even better, I have the Share and Engage channel, but soon I will migrate elsewhere and I will have separate channels. Hey guys, you want to grow on LinkedIn, you want to go on Instagram, and I will kind of curate the people who come in. Hey, you are LinkedIn bros, go, here is the channel for you, get together, try to push each other because that's really helped. Like if you are together in a one bucket, let's just support each other, hit that comment, which helps the algorithm. That is something concrete, which is more of the hacking type of thing, which helps. So I think the work itself is nailed, is good. We will help with Engage and Share channel. So that's kind of in progress and we'll get even better. Where I don't want to go is have hey, here's the algorithm, here's how it works and whatever. That shit I don't want to do.
That's not what you're teaching. So I'm going to mark this one as 2, I think, because what you teach is giving somebody a visual, which is what they want. Is I've seen a visual and it stopped me, and I want to be able to create a visual that stops whoever I want to talk to. So there might even be no gap. I don't know. Maybe it's a slight gap here because obviously you don't want to be a LinkedIn pod, or you don't want to be a group that's teaching whatever best practices or other bollocks people talk about right now.
Well, I don't want to do that, but at the same time, if their goal is, if I convince them, if they join my course and they expect now social media growth in 2 weeks and they don't get it, they're upset. So with that engagement pod, as much as I dislike those things, at the same time, it's it's not that bad. You get a quick win, you get a little bit of momentum, and then you will be on your own, So it's
I don't think people would blame the course. It's weird what I've seen people who study if they struggle, they blame themselves. They don't blame the teacher. So long as you're there supporting and that you're giving them the tools, people will look back and say, well, I didn't create a good enough visual, rather than Yanis didn't teach me how to create a good enough visual. So
yeah, so I wouldn't create big gap here. What I want to do, I want to just make that like share and engage thing a bit more like tailored and a bit better, you know, so it just fits and is like smooth and nice and feels ethical, and I'm proud of it, and it still kind of helps people. And another thing which I just want to do, like I just didn't finish that, but on FAQ I want to make it clear, you know, hey, here are certain students who have actually like grown from this to this, you know. Of course, there might be exceptions. I can't guarantee results. What I can guarantee is like to help you to actually to learn those techniques, which creates those visuals, which got them there, you know, and support a little bit, blah, 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 you know, just kind of explain everything honestly, because that is essentially the truth, you know. I definitely shouldn't claim, hey, you will join and in 2 months you will have like 10K followers and hell yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, the algorithms changed. I think when I first started posting on LinkedIn maybe 5 years ago, it was a hell of a lot easier to grow an audience than I think it is today. Well, that could just be that whatever I'm putting out is not as good. But so I don't think there's a problem here, because I think what you're teaching is something somebody can use to do this. You don't want to be the expert who learns the algorithm and stays up to date on it anyway. So then you're never going to add that to the course. And so therefore, if you make it more a community thing, that I could go in there and share what I'm learning, and maybe somebody else can chime in about, oh, I thought this worked well or that worked well. But that's probably good enough, right?
Yeah, no, this is at the same time, of course, I'm keeping in mind what you said previously. You know, a lot of people create courses and create material what they want to create, but I must look at what the students want. But like in terms of like social media engagement, polish type of stuff, that's so far away from like my desired stuff I want to do. So yeah, I just should make it clear what is it about, and those few things we can implement, and that's that.
Okay. This doesn't sound like it's massively challenging if you just change up the channel structure and let people.
It's already kind of happening, and I'm in progress of that, and I have a few ideas, and wife will help with those as well. So yeah, it's good.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, what do we got? So confidence in yourself. So again, I don't think you've got any gap on this at all. You've got, you know, you've got the, you know, and you just layer that up. And I think in your landing page, you know, there's here's what I've done, here's my story, here's how I got to now. So I don't think you've got a problem here.
Yeah, I think there should be, because there's both the student proof and my own proof, so that's non-existent.
Yeah, okay, done. All right. Okay, easy to learn. So the idea here is that it must be easy for somebody with zero art skills whatsoever. So somebody thinks that they are crap at art, they need the ability to join this course and do it without.
I thought about this, and here's my thoughts. Like, I think it's more, yes, first of all, yes, it is more for beginners than the experts. Like, a lot of people are like, wow, I didn't know. And I was like making my first idea 2 hours in the course. Amazing. I didn't know I can do this. So it is for beginners. The only thing which I have occasionally heard from people, I'm more the person who is like, don't give me the checklist, you know, explain me the big picture, give me some vague thoughts, you know, so I can go and attack and like try to figure this shit out on my own. And then there are some people who prefer like blueprints and concrete checklists, you know, tell me exactly what to do. And I think I'm serving very well for the big picture, vaguish type of people. And for the checklist bros, I'm like, I could do better. And I think they are same beginners, but just I'm serving well these, but there are some who prefer more structure. I think I could improve for them.
So given how important this is, I think it's worth digging into and getting real feedback. And you could almost go and find your existing students and say, who here joined because they had zero art talent, and then get on a call like this with them and just say, hey, I want to try and help you, just like I'm going to give you something for nothing, but tell me, like, what is it that you're struggling with? Like, where are you going? How are you building your designs? What point in the process does a gap occur and some sort of break take place between what you think you can do and what you want to do? And I do that with the course that we teach, and I never tell people the answer. So I don't give people a checklist, but I try and work out where have you got them stuck, and then I'll give you like a little breadcrumb, like a step ladder. It's not going to get you over the hurdle, but it will get you slightly closer to it, so that people can work it out for themselves. And people seem to like that. Like, if they can solve a problem themselves, they feel better about it and they have more agency. So I think you can study the people who struggle and work out. It's like, look, it's my intention that somebody who doesn't even know which end of a pencil to use can create these types of things. So let me laser in on that and make it as easy as possible, and have different ways of learning. Because if you're right and it's a checklist type thing versus a big picture thing, I mean, I don't know, everyone's got their own style of learning. How do you make it anyone who could come in at any level of talent and any learning style can still leave with the ability to do this?
Well, I feel this is like almost a little bit more about like overwhelming people versus giving them quick wins and kind of getting on the momentum trail. And I was actually trying to address this like a year ago. I actually have created like a separate course module, which I don't think I have added. I've somehow decided that it's shit. But the whole idea was there. Let's make your first visual in 1 hour. And it was like the whole video was like, hey, now take a pen of paper, draw these lines. Now think about your niche, your things about this type of stuff. Put it here. Yep. So I kind of very hold their hand, throughout that hour. So I was very convinced that they would get that thing. But it felt like, I don't know why I discarded it, but that was the problem I tried to solve. I want to give people quick wins and not overwhelm them. And now I think I certainly need to improve there, because like I can't throw them in the community and there's like everything. It's like kind of, I don't know. The course itself is short, in 2 hours you get the gist of it, and theoretically you should be good, but it's more like the perception, like, can we somehow, I
mean, that it might be worth trying to test that course out somehow. And I just want to watch somebody use this. I want to see somebody who is terrible at art and see, if I come and take the course. I think what you do well is break down the idea that it's got to look nice in the first place, right? So it's like, hey, it can look crap and still work. So don't worry about the fact that you don't have the artistic talent. But how do we reach even further back to the people who are still going, like I said, I don't know what end of the pencil I'm supposed to be using, and make sure that.
But I feel it almost feels like a little bit like a mental game, because at least how I envision it, it's like, I share all this stuff and they watch the 2 hour thing, and then they need to create visual, and they just look at that blank paper and they're like, so stiff, oh my God, oh no, I'm not creative, I'm not artistic. And they convince themselves out of it. Though if they would like just start to put on sticky notes and just like create that absolute mess, they would get somewhere. So I feel it's an interesting problem, but I feel like we're both talking here and it kind of requires a little bit of research, which you said, go talk to students and then we can figure out. I think I'm not doing bad. I think I'm doing pretty good at it. And it's like a lot of people who have joined in that state have succeeded, but at the same time, I'm sure a lot of people have joined and have not succeeded. So
and it's the ones who haven't. So I'm kind of like, for some people like me, I mean, I'm crap at drawing, still crap at drawing, but it doesn't really matter. So there's no.
That's great.
But for other people, maybe they, and so I guess it's about how important is it to eliminate this. So at the moment, I think you're doing a good job of making it obvious to people that you can do this without artistic skills. How much time and effort do you want to invest in trying to ensure that everybody leaves successful versus just changing your marketing copy to make it abundantly clear, this is fine, it's not for an artist? Because you kind of do this already. I'm kind of torn between the 2 and a 3 on this. I think it's more a 2.
It's definitely something I don't like. Obviously, I want people to succeed with my course and get out of it what they want. I don't know. It's something I will not go and do this, like change this right away. Honestly, I do feel I'm doing a pretty good job with it, but there's certainly a place for improvement. So I would put it at 2. I would put it at 2 because I think the investment here is pretty significant to kind of figure it out. But at the same time, as I'm doing it like quite well already, I think, it's not that bad.
Yeah, and that's kind of it. Like at the moment, is it so? As we interviewed people, you never got anybody who was really complaining about the course. Now that could be because we didn't interview anybody that didn't like it, or it could be that it's perfect. And so therefore, is this more about changing the marketing copy or more about changing the course content?
Yeah, you know what I had in mind once, which was like, all the refund policies and like I never really had it on my site. I felt like I don't need it, and then I added it and like promoted it. Like some people asked for refund, I was like, fuck that shit, like I don't want refund, so I just removed it. But what I understood is that a lot of it is like people are lazy. They just it's fucking effort. Yeah, give me refund, And what I had in mind is maybe to create a refund policy was like, you need to create at least 2 visuals and send it to me on feedback. Even if you're in whatever tier you are, you need to create 2 visuals and at least like give your best try and send it to me. And only then I will give you a refund, So people need to like force even to send a complete crap, So there's a little bit of that skin in the game. But
I think that's perfect because with us we give people we pay for them to resit an exam. However, when we first started doing this, you're paying out many, but the odd one that fails. But then I'm like, no, you've got to come. So I locked our process down very tightly. And now I get people like, well, I can't get past this quiz. I'm like, well, you're going to have to learn how to do it because I'm not going to guarantee that you succeed if you can't be bothered to put the effort in to follow the pro. Like the process exists so that you get the outcome. You can't skip the middle bit and get what you want. So I think that's not bad.
I think that could be a good one because I know I honestly respect, and I know there are some creators who just say no refund policy. I believe in personal responsibility. This stuff requires effort. Like if this is a financial strain for you, if you join and you think like magic will happen like instantly, like don't fucking join, no fucking refunds. So I kind of like that statement as well. And I believe like a little bit lighter version with you need to submit some visuals and give some reasoning behind it would be probably nice.
Well, I think for your top tier offering, then you probably do want a refund policy or something along that. I know it might be painful, but given that it's high priced, you learn more. So if it costs you money, then it's a massively good learning experience. I'd probably put it on then because then it's about, well, you've got to be
by high tier. You mean 500, the mid tier?
No, I'd do it only on the top tier. I think. I don't know. It's worth thinking about. But I think on the top tier one, when you're charging a load of money, that's when you can say, well, I'm here to help, but you've got to pick up your own bootstraps and put the effort in because otherwise I can't help. You can't help somebody themselves.
Yeah, well, I don't know. With the top tier, I'm more like I want to guarantee that you know, we will get 6 visuals that you're proud of, blah blah blah, until that term, like, and you will have the confidence and whatever. Of course, the confidence is a bit mushy thing, but so I would like continue to work with them until we reach that, or like, okay, you're freaking hopeless, you don't want to do this, you know, whatever, I refund you and we go separate ways. But yeah.
All right. No, well, look, I think that might make sense, because it's the reason to do it is about learning what doesn't work for them, and making it better and, like I said, more idiot proof for the next person who comes down the channel. So if we can get to a point where we've got a really clear picture, if somebody refunds, that's a huge signal, like something's not gone right. And then it's like, well, why not? Like, how do we did we let the wrong person in, or did we do a bad job delivering on whatever it was that we promised to do? And, you know, one way or another, we'll fix it.
I think the sending visuals thing could be actually a nice thing, because like a lot of people are fucking pigs, you know, they just, oh, full refund policy, oh, just join, like, scribble around, ask for refund, no questions asked, so easy, you know, fuck that shit. I don't know, I feel it's like just unfair, and I think a lot of people take advantage of that, and then I pay like fucking Stripe fees and this and that, and like it's just nonsense. But when people join, okay, I can get a refund, but I will need to put a little bit of effort in. Okay, fair, honest, you know, I believe you can. I think it could be more honest refund if it would happen.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm not sure I agree with you that people join and refund. The sort of person who's too cheap to join the course, it's too cheap to put the credit card details in and pay in the first place.
Well, I have people who have joined,
okay,
rip off the content, ask for refund, and then put it online on scammy course websites. Hey, here's Jan's launch course.
Oh wow. Okay, so
yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah. Well, it's not often, but yeah, there are people who just join, ask for refund, rip off your course, throw it off on some fucking like random course pages. If you Google to the 3rd page, you can find a lot of my course material there available on some cheap ass shitty places.
I don't know. You know, that's not great, but at the same time, I can't be bothered to worry about the people who are going to rip me off and focus on the people who want to pay me.
Yeah, exactly. Of course.
And do a better job so that the rip-off course doesn't match the value of being part of the community or whatever. So, all right. Okay. So this one here, like, this is a bit of investigation, but I don't think you'd need a bit of. You would need to do some research to understand who rules. I think no point overthinking too. This is unimportant anyway. So the process, you teach this anyway. So there's just not important. Not important. Okay, this is relatively unimportant. So this is publishing the work and the confidence. These guys here tend to be people who've already put something out. So I think they've tried either reposting somebody else's visuals, or like they see something and try and create your design without knowing you've done it. So I don't think there's any.
I don't think, especially if you are in committed plan, and if I give you feedback, I think then definitely not. Because if you take the feedback and if you act on feedback, and in feedback, I praise people like, holy shit, this is amazing, you know, and that's tremendous boost for them for like confidence.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't think there's any gap here. Okay, so these are price-sensitive individuals. They're taking the first steps. So, okay, well, they're going back to that last answer. On the committed plan, yes. On the so if you buy the cheapest price course, I mean, they find this important. You've gone with 197 for the cheap price now?
Yeah, 197. Though I have some thoughts of maybe lowering it. I'm not sure.
One thing that I don't know if you want to do it or not. In Europe, you probably can. When I launched the course, I had somebody. One of the questions I got, somebody said, do you offer BNPL? And I said, well, what's BNPL? I've never heard of it. And it's called Buy Now, Pay Later. And there are these apps like Klarna and others. And I think you would probably see a big uptick in sales for any of the plans. And you just split the payment in four, but Klarna handles the payment processing and stuff like that. With us, I couldn't use them because in Singapore you're not allowed to. So I literally just had a separate membership type where you signed up and you just paid me 4 installments through Stripe rather than paying it all in one. And then if you failed to pay 2 or 3, if you didn't pay the 3rd installment, we just cut off your access after a week, and that was the end of that.
Hell yeah, right. I actually did this previously. I had the payment plans. I never was a fan of them, and actually not that many people took them. But this is a good idea without lowering the price. I can just make it like pay in 3 installments, or
if you can do it properly. So the problem I had is I had to go and literally make a completely separate membership type, because I didn't have the access to whatever Klarna or whoever Afterpay and these other ones. If you can add it, then it can just be on Stripe or whatever the payment checkout. And it's like, do you want to pay now or do you want to pay it in 4 installments? And then the decision's much easier for somebody down there.
No, the implementation I think is easy. I believe I can create just a new Stripe payment link and like, hey, do you want to pay in 3 separate installments? Click here, and then there is Stripe subscription, which ends at certain date. If they get the same access. If I see, okay, they stopped paying after like 2 months and it's like declining credit cards, I'll just decline the access, And here the thing where I had the worry previously with this payment plan is like, I had it on, but that would be on the committed. Yeah, okay. No, never mind. This is good. I think this is the easiest thing I could actually implement.
Okay.
Would you implement this for both or all 3, or?
Probably wouldn't do it for the high price one. I don't know why. I'm trying to think why I'm recommending that.
Well, because I would. Yeah, I don't know.
Because you're putting the time and effort in. We're doing it in 3 weeks or a month or 6 weeks or whatever we promised. So pay up front.
1 second.
Yeah. All good? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay.
See, I wouldn't on the top tier, because on the top tier then people are, they're getting something up front, and they should just pay up front. And by the way, I think they've got the money and they'll pay me up for it anyway. But I think for the lower tier, especially for anybody who's thinking, oh, should I buy it or whatever, they get it. And like you say, you just cut their access off if they stop paying. And I never really cared about that, because, if I've got half the money and somebody doesn't end up being a student for longer, I've still got half as much money as I could have done, and I don't have any obligation to the person who's not paying.
Would you, if you pay in three installments, would you increase the price? Like, so there is like more incentive to join in for that one, or like keep it absolutely fair? Like, hey, you can pay in three installments if you want.
Honestly, if I had the option of doing it, I couldn't use these services, but I would just have it on the payment gateway of, split the payment, pay up front. Because I think what happens if you use like Klarna, they give you the full price, and they take the credit risk on the client. Whereas the way I did it, I was breaking it in 3, and therefore if you didn't pay, you didn't get access. So
I don't think I want to use Klarna. I want to just new Stripe payment link, probably split in 3 subscription ends. That's it. Simple, plain, easy. I know how to implement this in like 40 minutes. So
yeah, fair enough.
Awesome. Great. I'll do that instead of lowering the price.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking genius. Good stuff.
Easy. Done. My typing today is second to none. Right. Course duration. Okay, so they want something. So in this case here, it was about a group of people who were taking their first steps, and therefore they didn't want something that was long, heavy, and this demand facet has to counterweight against. Do you add more content to make it easier to learn? But if you do, then there's more content to go through to learn it, if you know what I mean. So you kind of you sort of balancing here.
Well, here I can say, like, I definitely will continue to add content, and I do my office hours and stuff like that. But I think a landing page I should do a little bit better communication of, which is true. You can go through the core material to start creating visuals in like 2 hours. In 2 hours, you can start creating, all of the stuff is, yes, go then like feeling inspired, go study some more. But no, essentially in 2 hours, you can learn the meat, so you can actually create something. You don't need to go through like all the stuff. I think I just need to communicate that a little bit better, because I believe it's true.
Okay. I'd agree. I don't think there's any real gap here. All right. This is unimportant, so they're not that bothered about getting it. So on this one, I don't know what you were planning on doing, but on the cheap plan, I'd give them like 1 or 2 review sessions or a month's access to the community just free, so that they can get a taste for it and then offer them the chance to upgrade rather than. And then if they don't upgrade,
well, what I plan to do is, I don't know exactly how I will implement, but for all the people who will join Curious Plan,
yeah,
probably my wife, as she will be kind of in the community monitoring stuff and just keeping hand on the pulse. We will pay attention who have, or no, I guess with the curious ones, I can just set up an automated sequence that in 1 week or a few days or whatever sends, hey, Jan here, just want to let you know that if you have created something, please share it with me. Happy to review one of your visuals and give feedback absolutely for free. Then if you decide, of course, you can upgrade to committed plan, where you get like unlimited access to these feedbacks. Also share an engaged channel where you can whatever grow with other people.
Yeah.
And some people will ignore that. Some people might take up on it. It could be, that's like, there's no harm done, I guess.
Yeah, I think the like I said, it was the people like Aditi, and I think I'm trying to remember who else. When they joined, they didn't know that.
I think Knife and Aditi. I think both of them were like, "Holy shit, these feedback sessions were amazing," but I didn't join because of them.
Yeah, and so then you still give somebody that, wow, this is amazing, for free, but if you want all of it, pay up type thing, and then you can sort of upgrade the subscription that way, I think. So awesome. So now we've moved to this one. So this is our teachers and communicators who wanted to understand the thought process so that they can get their own students on the same page. DIY here was not massively important to them, so let's not waste our time rating it. I don't think there's any great gap here.
Yep.
Let's move. What we got? Tools they're not bothered about because they want to know the process, so there's no gap here anyway. Okay, what do we got? Process. Right. So this is fundamentally why they're joining.
This is Francesca and Frederick, right? Yeah.
So it's all about understanding the thought process, and I think. Well, what do you think? You think there's a gap in the content you've got, or is it good enough?
honestly, I don't think there is any gap, especially if you go through the course material, you see the process, plus if you go to the behind the scenes videos where I actually struggle with ideas in real time, you hear everything I think and do. I do feel there is no gap, to be honest. So what I'm thinking is like, can the communication be improved? Can I guide those people who want this a little bit better so they get that? I think the content is there.
And again, that's where I do this kind of, choose your own journey type quiz of, oh, actually, this is important to me. It's like, well, now I can message you that I've got these behind the scenes videos. It's not just about the course, it's about the thinking process. And if you really want to learn more, you join the, the top tier plan, and I'll work with you and, ideate stuff in real time, and we'll, and you'll get a real understanding of how my mind works and a repeatable process you can follow to crank a handle and not run out of ideas or run out of the ability to create these things in the future.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so it sounds like it's covered. Just need to close the okay. Or maybe I'll put that as a 2. Yeah, that's easy. All right. This is unimportant anyway. They don't care about it, so so there's no point in rating it. Sorry, I'm zoomed in. How do I get out? Okay, so this is all about it. It's having the confidence in you. Like, here's who I am. Here's what I do. Here's why you should be able to listen to me. I think you do this. Obviously, you do it pretty well for the people who are joining. How do you make and this is like I've told you many times now. You don't want to brag about your achievements and things like this, but is there an opportunity? Maybe once a week, if you're posting 5 times a week, can you put one out there or one every other week that shares an achievement or talks about a success, or like is there a way to let somebody who's thinking about this see, hey, you know what, like he knows what he's talking about. He's not just some guy who draws things that like there you go. Oh, what's this one?
That's Jefferson Fisher. He's massive. On Instagram, he has like 5 million followers. He's like absolute insanity. Yeah. He just has sold 300K already, and it was released like half a year ago. So massive success. The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher. He's a lawyer. Okay. He's a lawyer who just shares like 3 tips on communication: how to argue, how to deal with narcissists, how to do this, how to do that, etc., etc. Super likable person. You watch his Instagram and you're, oh, I like him. He's so nice.
Well, I read tons of books, so I'll add it. One more copy sold.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
Awesome. So look, I don't think there's a huge gap here. I think if there's a gap, it's a messaging gap again. Like.
Yeah, I will put a note for myself. I always want to do this, and my wife keeps busting my balls that I should do it, and I never do it. But I think I just need to sit down and take the time to figure out how I want to do it. That feels ethical and nice to me, and so I don't feel like some whatever. But yeah, I'll do it. I promise.
Yeah. What about a simple way of just sharing a story? Like, it doesn't have to be bragging. Yep. It can be something very, you could. I think often an understated story would get more attention from me than saying, "Oh, I've sold all these books, like my visuals on 300,000 copies, all this crap," and then it would put me off. But if it was somebody who was sharing, "Hey, I came from nowhere and I got to somewhere, and look at this, a book I've illustrated sold this many copies," like, isn't that amazing? Or something like that. The way you share has got to be important.
Definitely, and a lot easier to do on newsletter as well. I'll try to funnel more people to my newsletter, and newsletter I can do that. Yeah, I'll do it. It's great. I'm sure it will result in more sales. I just need to do it. I need to understand that this will correlate with success of my finances as well. So I just must fucking do
it. Yeah, that's you talk about pushing people out of their comfort zone. Just publish something. Even if you take your own medicine.
Take your own medicine, yeah.
I've just re-rated this. I don't think there's a gap. It's I just need to. Oops.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you.
Date it more frequently and be less. No gap. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Effort to close the gap. Comms change. Like that properly. Awesome. So they're not bothered about this anyway. The course is easy enough for them to learn. They're the sort of people who latch in and do this. So I don't think there's just not a gap here. Or I don't think there is, unless you do disagree. Neither of them complained about the complexity or the challenge.
I do sense a little bit the theme. I think, I'm not sure if it's among everybody, but like having something like, I'm now thinking about the sub headline and just like do the visuals in 2 hours without design experience. So those feels like two important things. Not an artist, and like you can get this shit done in 2 hours. Because it's kind of true. I don't need to like recreate content.
Yeah, and not for this group here, because they don't care. I think if anything, they're the sort of people who like learning, and therefore the more challenging it is, the more it will pull them in. But certainly for the group I think you are targeting, where they did struggle, they want something simple and easy. It's making it so straightforward that you can learn it in 2 hours is perfect.
Yeah, and I think I honestly I had that CTA testimonial in the middle, which actually was the exact words from a person. Blah blah blah. I made my visual in 2 hours after joining, so that would be even more powerful because I'm not claiming it.
Yeah, and then you just put it at the point in the flow where it makes sense to that person, so that they go.
Can I ask you a question again? Like what I realized, which is an interesting, I was like, I was actually for my analytics, I was sending the guys like, what the fuck? But then I really realized where is the problem. I have the funnel where I measure how people scroll my landing page, and I can see where people like drop off. And an interesting thing is like a lot of people, they scroll to I think it's the next section, which is, it's a skill for life, like presentations, and then there is a call to action button, which will scroll down to pricing. And I can see a lot of people click that button, so they skim all the other content and see the pricing. And I'm thinking, just, is it maybe worth to remove that CTA button and get them to the pricing slower, so they actually scroll and see the other stuff, because they get so.
And this is where a landing page test would be really valuable. Because if somebody goes, why are you clicking that? What are you expecting? Like, why are you going to the pricing? And often you'll hear somebody go, well, I've got to see what it costs to work out whether it's a bit like you walk past a watch shop. If it doesn't have any labels on watches, it's not a shop that I'm going to go and shop watches in, because I already know I can't afford them. And so I think a lot of people are just trying to get should I carry on?
I guess we can cancel this question, and I just need to do the research, because it's speculation until that. There's no right or wrong here, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, the landing page tests for me are it's one of my favorite things to do, because everything I thought I knew, everything I'd spent hours finessing the language and making it as clear as possible, and then you watch somebody look at it and go, I've got a bloody clue what that says. And I did one once actually with one of my colleagues, and he's not much older than me, but the way he was trying to use a web browser, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, but he uses it in a very specific way that I've never thought of using before. And unless you watch somebody do it, you'd have no idea that's how people use the web. But all of a sudden, the way I'd set it up was impossible for him because I never knew people used the website like that. So it was it's always instrumental to me to see people do stuff and go, that makes no sense, but fair enough. If that's how people use it, then set it up for them. I had it once. I got this plugin I paid a load of money for, and it had this cool, I thought it was cool, like horizontal scroll piece. So you drop down and then it would start scrolling left to right. And everybody I tested it with hated it. I was the only person who liked it. It's like, right, that's going in the bin. Let's not do that anymore. So,
Okay. No, fair point. Another plus to do the interviews. Yeah, but
okay. So no, they're not bothered. So yeah, so this they want to know the process to come up with the ideas, not to create the polished design. So there's no gap here. Confident, no, they're not bothered because it's not about publishing the work. They're going to use it in teaching materials. So don't worry. They're not price sensitive. This is a nice, easy one to rate.
This is kind of that group which I went after. Like when you did the Loom video and reviewed my landing page, you said in the more expensive plan, hey, you should add here, blah, 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 which targeted the first job. And I kind of ignored the first job completely. And I was mostly focusing on this job in that expensive plan. But I'm starting to think that maybe I should focus on the other one. I'm not so sure. Yeah.
I think so. In an ideal world, I would want a page per job so that somebody could go and it talks to me in my context, and it promises this. On the pricing page, you can try and achieve this regardless. And the thing that I would do, so everything you've got right now, I would keep, but I'd just put it beneath a paragraph that goes back and uses the where are we? That's fine. Just move over here. So just this is right for you if like some of these things. So you're a lifelong learner, you've seen a power visual idea and you need training materials to use in your work that's easier. This is what this will do for you.
Well, this was what you did in your landing page. You actually copy pasted this thing there.
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's not elegant, but it
felt a bit odd. I felt odd to do that, but I don't know. Of course, if you're convinced that it works, then I should probably do it.
The reason why I did it, I published some research that we'd done on why people buy these things called data catalogs, and I put it up on LinkedIn. And there's a quote somewhere from a lady, and she's like, "It feels like you're living in my head." Like that's exactly why we ended up with this thing. How did you know? And so it is ugly. I don't disagree. Like I might not use it exactly as I've done on the page. I might try and rephrase it. But this plan is for you if these things are true and you want to achieve those things. And we know that, well, at least we've got much more confidence that this is the context they're in and they want. And then it helps them because they can click across. And in a curious plan would be much more about maybe these guys here or probably the healthy hobby group here. Like this is perfect for you if you're just taking your first steps, if you're doing it to kind of have a break from the grind of stuff that you don't like, and it might be useful in the future.
But here's the problem. Like, not the problem, just help me a little bit. Like now, if you go to my landing page, there are these like features which I have created, and I feel it's important to list what you will actually get, because this is like some whooshy language which doesn't give anything concrete. So of course I could do both, but then that like pricing page is like freaking long.
Oh, I tell you what I'll do, and I'll probably do it tomorrow. I'll sit down and I'll think about it, and I'll see if I can come up with a paragraph per plan that sets this up. But I won't do it as ugly as I've done before, where it's literally just ripping these things on and dumping them. But is there a way to say to somebody, I click on this, this plan is right for you if X, Y, Z. And then somebody can click and it's like, oh, hang on, this one's got, it's right for you if ABC, and this one's like EFG or whatever.
Okay.
And then you can self-select a bit more easily.
That we can do. Then tell me if this is a good direction to go. We have 3 plans. Is it okay that I still scrap the first plan, which is essentially Wes and the other person which you interviewed from the thing? If I scrap those, and then the curious plan, I write, this plan is for you if we take the hobby group. Committed plan, this plan is for you if you are in the growth group. And then the third plan, this plan is for you, and we take what Frederick and Francesca said. And that's it.
I don't know which one I'd go. So I think, and again, we should just test it, right? Because whatever I think is probably wrong. But this one or this one is the top tier plan, or both. And is there a way to create a message that says to somebody, so why do I want 6 polished visuals? I think these people want it more than these do. They want to know the process and the thought process behind it, and they want to get inside your head. These people need to have 6 polished visuals that they're proud enough to put up in their own case study and use in their own work and to sell to other people. So I think these people have been more willing to pay than these. But yeah.
I think you have convinced me, because like my you know a little bit where my mind is at, and I think it's just in the wrong place. It's like I see these business people, these people who talk to executives and like coaches who like have big budgets, and they like throw 1K there, 1K there, no big deal. And I feel that is Francesca, she is well established and she works with corporations and stuff, and seems like she's moving around quite a lot of money. And I like, those are the best clients. I have worked with her. I have talked with her, and it's such a joy to talk with these people. They're just awesome, And I kind of want to work with them, but I feel maybe it's like they are maybe more of the exception, and they would choose something completely different. Versus the other 3 plans is something more concrete, like this product really fits them. And if Francesca wants to know my process, she just might want to jump in one of the plans, and who cares, and I'll whatever.
Yeah, to be honest, I think I don't know. I think we should test both, but personally, I would.
I'm now more convinced because here money is on the table. Exactly. Oh shit, Giannis is making money. He can work with Jefferson. That's such a big deal. Like fuck. Like he probably can make me unlock some new levels of confidence and stuff.
People want what you've got, and if they're going to make money from it, or it doesn't matter whether they will or they won't. They think they will, and then it's your job to help them get to the point where they have the confidence to do it. And I think the offer that you're making in that premium tier is it's more aligned with the objectives that these people want.
Yeah.
And then these guys here, if you really like working with them, they're probably even easier because they need 6 polished visuals or whatever. They just want to spend some time hanging out and having a great chat about however your mind works. And so, maybe there's a dedicated plan for them, and you have a separate page, and like, hey, I've noticed that course creators do X, Y, Z. I'm here. I'm going to share my thought process. Get on, whatever the hell it happens to be. So that would just be my.
No, thank you. I think it's really useful. I think you have convinced me, and I have convinced myself, not like you have convinced me. So which is actually the convincing you need in people. I think I finally it have clicked for me. It makes sense. Thanks. Okay, cool. Got it.
No worries. So we got not applicable here. What do we got here? Gerard, they don't care anyway. So this one's a really easy one to rate.
That's good. That's good. Direct instructor X. So it depends on the plan.
It depends on the plan. And again, it's I think what's interesting for me.
These are who, hobbyists, or who are these?
These are your Francesca and
still them. Okay, still them. Yeah, got it.
So
okay.
I want to get inside your head. So the direct instructor access, that I'll leave the. It's not a gap if you choose the higher price plan. But therefore,
to be honest, I would say there's no gap, because I have left even the questions and answers community chat open for those people. So even if you join the Curious plan, you can ask me a question. Hey, Yanis, how do you approach this? And I will answer. So I would say there's no gap. It's just even more direct accesses in the committed and in the exclusive.
So
that would be,
it might just be a messaging gap. Then it's like, how do we communicate to the people that care about this that if you pay more money, you get more access? If that makes any sense. So
I guess if you click around, essentially. This is a bit tricky one. What's tricky? We just talked about the 3 plans and how we can say this plan is for you if, let's say, 3 bullets, and we will have 3 bullets in all 3 of those. And in first one we target hobbies, then growth people, then I want to make money with visuals.
Yeah.
And we need, at the same time, we need to very clearly communicate that, hey, this is like the actual differences with the plans, because the actual differences is like you get all the content. But here you get share and engage channel, and you get direct feedback from me, and exclusive. That's like you work exclusively with me for like 3 weeks. So,
yep. Okay. So I'll drop this. It's a messaging gap. It's just trying to get. And like I said, one of the interesting things working with you is that previously I've had a very clear opinion that I'm not serving this job. I'm only going to go after this one. Where you're serving all of these already. It's less about choosing which one we go after. It's more about prioritizing one and then just making sure that we tweak the copy and the contents of the packages to align with what they need and want to pay with.
Yeah. I guess what I'm going after here is just when we are saying those initial phrases, we should try to incorporate the message. What are the actual differences as well? Not only saying, these wishy-washy words that make people feel, oh, this is for me, but like that actually, oh, here I get more access, here I get less access. Okay, that's for later. Good.
And that's the reason why I want to make that just like a micro tweak, like a single paragraph, a couple of sentences, whatever it is. But it just, like I said, people don't want to think, and so therefore tell them, if you're in this context, you should look at this plan. And if they look at us, oh, I'm not in that context, okay, great, that'll help you make a better decision. Whereas if it's like, yes, that sounds exactly like what I want to achieve, so therefore I should study this package in detail and learn more about what it offers. So anyway,
good. This is so useful.
Sorry, while we're talking, let me do that. So I've just added something to my to-do list so that I remember to do that. Okay. Yeah, so in this case, okay, hang on. We've moved to the 4th job. Sorry. So these are the healthy hobbyists.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no gap in this anyway. So
it
was important to some and not to others. But again, you have a DIY course. If they join the DIY course, they get a DIY course. There's no point overthinking.
I do both, a bit of from both worlds. You get the DIY course, but then there's these occasional live events which people seem to love, and very good here.
Like I said, I think with these ones, but also the ones who are doing it for the social media reach, they're more likely, I think, to join the lower price course but they're also, if they latch on and engage with it, I think they're likely to upgrade if they suddenly find, hey, this is for me. I want to do better at it. So I think there's that kind of upsell potential.
Yeah.
Cool. And you could even do a subscription model or something like that, where somebody joins the Curious plan and then they want to, it's like pay per month to have access to this and whatever. I don't know.
No, it feels a bit headacheish at the moment.
Fair enough. Not bothered to do this. Someone wanted to learn Figma, but yeah, this isn't. I think what you've got's good enough, so we don't need to worry.
I think so as well.
Don't worry too much about this. There's no point rating everything that's unimportant. They're not bothered by this, so let's we can skip that one. Alrighty, social media reach. So this was, it wasn't their primary goal, but it was like a thing that if I do this and create this hobby, I can also use it for something else. It was kind of like the cherry on top. And I guess that, what do we rate the other one? Let's get out. Social media reach. Get 2F at 1. So I don't think it's any different to this, is it?
Well, if here we look that for hobbyists, we are targeting them on the Curious plan. And on Curious plan, you don't get the share and engage channel and tailored feedback, which will make your visuals even better for social media, because I will review them and I will say, I think this is off and this is off. So it is a bit worse than if you join the committed plan. In terms of art itself, of course, like you will learn the skills and it'll be pretty good, but it would be fair to say that if we target committed plan, it's a bit worse than the, if you join if we target Curious plan, it's a bit worse than committed plan.
Yeah, but this is so there isn't a gap if they pick the right thing.
Yes.
And so I think we rated it 2 before. Great, more specific things like this. However, they would need to join the committed plan, and so this is where I'm thinking you give them like a taste of what they could have, and the offer to upgrade, because then the gap isn't there. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because I'm curious. I want to implement that follow up in a week and say, hey, share your visual and give them. Yeah, good. I think it's awesome. This is fair.
Okay. We would need to. Cool. Not easier. There's probably a bit more work than, but it's not a massive amount of work, is it?
No. It's basically just an email, automated email probably, and then of course, if I need to review those visuals, it takes a bit of my time, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we at? Okay. Confidence. So they need this again. I don't think there's a huge gap here. They're all on your social media following and most of the newsletter anyway.
Of course,
right?
I don't think there is a gap. If there is, please tell me, and like what awards I need to get, like Grammy, Grammy in visuals.
And again, I think it may just be. I don't even think these people are going to respond to the success of using them. It's more the visual itself. It's like, it's the act of drawing that they seem to want to get involved with.
Yeah. Well, of course, then it's different, because I always think in context of my audience, because I don't do cold traffic. But if I would think about going cold, then this is probably where I should probably be more like really make sure I nail the confidence in the teacher part, and so it's authentic and stuff. I was actually
Yeah.
like ChatGPT released this new browser, and I was like, where you have AI on the side, and I was like just going to my website and asking ChatGPT, "Is this dude legit?" You know, and then it goes, "Oh, he seems legit, whatever, but like be careful of this and that." And I'm just like curious what I will get from like something like that.
Yeah. Okay. And you know, I think people will. It's about seeing the visual and the process, and I think you know just how you engage on social media should be good enough to tick
Yeah.
this box.
We're good. We're good. We're good. Definitely no worth paying attention here right now.
So again, so they're typically more artistic. They need a beginner course, so they're interested in this. I don't know, what do we rate the easy to learn? I don't think it's any different to them.
Well, I think I told you about that the checklist versus the big picture thing. So I think it's a 2 because it's more about what people prefer. And
yeah, let's.
but I would say for hobbyists, I think it's really, I think no, but it's the same thing. It depends on the person. Some people like the big picture, like start scribbling, get encouragement, and some people want a bit more guidance and quick wins. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'd make it even less then, because I agree with you. I think they're dipping their toes in. They're coming in. They're taking this stuff. A lot of them weren't necessarily completing the course. They were going to do it in the future. So you know they're not put off by the content. It's more it's a hobby, so I'll do it as and when, rather than. So you provide a course that you can come and dip in and out of, and it's not like you sat there and force them to sit in the classroom and draw stuff, is it? So. Cool. Process again. I don't think you're scoring the best I think I've ever seen on one of these things, because your course is already doing a lot of it. It's just about changing how we message it. You know,
It's always been on my mind that like messaging is the biggest issue, and I'm like a bit all over the place, and I feel we are getting closer. I really can't wait to, like, if this thing will work big, where I think the biggest benefit will be when I will start to push out newsletter and really will try to tailor the messaging for all of these jobs and start to survey people and send the right message to the right people. If this stuff works, then I think that could drive good results.
Yeah, I hopefully it does. Hopefully when you push it out, it makes it. It's almost just making it easier for somebody to say, "Is this for me or not?" And hopefully we can use this and coach people and make sure that they do so. And then, you know, can you improve the product? Of course, everything can always be improved, but is it the primary thing? You know, do I want to make it super duper easy to use? Well, if it's easy enough for most people, then probably the answer is no, and focus on more important things.
Yeah.
Okay, so these ones, and so on this one here, you've
we do the same thing. Sorry.
So obviously you've increased the price. Well, no, hang on, you haven't. The low.
No, let me. I'm going in the Stripe as we speak to check like the old Stripe account. Now I made new one for the new course, but for the update. But give me 1 second, because it was always like it was for a long time on this like a bit fake-ish type of discount. Well, it was not fake discount, but it was just very long. Which is still when you bought the 700 tier, it was like on a discount as well from some 1,000 plus or whatever.
Yeah.
Transactions. So people pay 193.05.
Okay, so it's not
with the perception that it's discounted from, I think, 280.
right. Okay.
Those are the
Uh,
vast majority of people who have been interviewed here.
Okay.
So it's a tiny increase, like $5. Now it's 97.
Yeah.
But without the discount.
Yeah. What do we want to do with this?
I guess what I want to do, which is like what I want to do next. I love what you said about the pricing tier. So I want a package like, hey, you can pay in 3 months installments. That is awesome. I want to test that, see how it performs, and then just push it out and see the overall performance of everything. Of course, now send to the wait list, maybe add a 10% discount because of the waiting and whatever, and just a little bit extra incentive, and just see how that 197 performs. And then decide, is there a chance to even more stripped down version? Though 4 plans would be, I think, quite insane.
I wouldn't bother. I think in the research, I think Mickey was the only one who was looking at it as a relatively large expense, and that's just to do with how much she was earning and spending and stuff like that at the time. Others did, like Knife was looking at this and saying, I wouldn't tell my parents how much I'd spent on it because I might feel embarrassed. But it didn't stop him from spending it. So he thought it was worthwhile. So I do think they're more price sensitive.
Yeah, no. I think if the messaging is good, I think this should be a good price, because I feel like I'm not rich or anything. I earn good salary, of course, above the like middle whatever people, but there's a lot of creator courses I bought in the range of 200, 300, 400, and I'm like, often I don't have even like expectations. I'm like, just show me how you do things. I'm curious. I have some spare money, like fucking let's go. So going, and then we can enter the realm where, what you said, people who don't pay or pay very little tend to be the biggest headache,
Yeah. No, I've done the same. I always used to look at the course completion stats for these massive open online courses, and if you look at those completion stats, people are like, these courses are terrible value, nobody completes them or whatever. And then I think back to, I joined a Strategizer one years ago when I was looking at value proposition design, and the course has got tons of content on business models and testing, whatever. I've never watched any of it. I went straight to the lesson that I wanted to watch. I watched that about 7 times, and then I went off and used it. And I'm like, I've had value for my $700 or whatever I've spent because I learned the thing I wanted to learn. And I didn't have to waste my time on all this other crap that is probably quite useful. But
that's
I'm not going to use it
yeah. That's why I'm always very not skeptical, but I'm like, this course completion stuff is like, it's not. It's more like, because I had the same thing. I bought a course. I spent like 400 on it. I went exactly like you. I'm curious about this. I went to this lesson. I haven't watched the whole course, but like I felt, yeah, cool, awesome, got what I needed. Like, thank you. And
and that's all that matters, I think. Right, where are we?
Course duration commitment.
Like again, it's important because they don't want to feel like this. They wouldn't want to sit in a classroom that was 6 weeks long and do like PJ's course. I don't think they want to do on an ad hoc basis. But I think you've got that. And again,
I think we're good here. Okay, cool.
All righty, where are we going next? That's not important, so don't worry. Okay, something like that. Not important anyway. And there we go.
So what do we now see?
So What this does, just so you know, is now we've got this. The way I used it before, and like I said, one of the interesting things for me is that that where you serve these already, you've got so much as like a sea of green here. So it's relatively easy to do, and there's not a massive gap in the first place. Whereas on this first job here that we rated last week, there is a degree of a gap and there's a degree of effort. And so what this now recommends is like what are the quick wins versus what else we want to do. The next stage from here is to create plans of how do we close the gaps and what are we going to do and what are we going to test to do it.
This actually makes so much sense in terms that what we decided that curious plan can be hobbyists, committed plan can be growth people, and the most gap is make visuals for a living. But as they were not price sensitive, we take the exclusive plan where we kind of almost automatically close all the gaps because they just work one-on-one with me for 3 weeks, and we can basically close any gaps where I have the knowledge to kind of help them close the gap. So good.
In this case, I would probably promote all of them to the next stage. So when I've done this in the past, so when we did this growth consulting one, I chose one job because for me, we had 5 of them. One was like a column of mostly green with a bit of yellow, and the others had red in. But here, you're already targeting them, so we may as well make plans to close the gaps or to test things and you know, to try and like this one here, I think is your biggest customer base, number 2, right now. But why don't we try and drive up the sales of all the other 4 jobs as well and see if we can get them all firing?
Yeah, because the fair point is like I have targeted the most the second group, and it could be the reason that's why I got them the most, and we get the most feeling that is the biggest thing. Honestly, I find the biggest problem, I find more just that there is like 3 distinct jobs that we target with 2 of the plans, and it's more like trying not to confuse them and make their path clear that this is for you.
No, for me, it's there's making a clear plan that this is for you, but actually the more important thing is helping people decide what's not for them. So if I see something and it's like, no, that's not what I want to do, I can eliminate this one. And then when I look at the remaining 2, I've got something to base the decision to pick from, if that makes sense. So it's like, you know, maybe it's too expensive. That's not for me. And then I look at the others and it's like, well, this one's affordable, but actually money's more important than time. So I'll buy the cheap course. So it's partly teaching them what should be true, but also what, you know, if you're in this context, don't buy this because you're not going to be happy with it. It's not going to be the right thing for you. And we don't want you to waste money on stuff that you don't like. So, all right. So yeah, what I'd recommend that we just push all of them through to the next phase. Where we're going to have some fun. In this one here. So basically now you've got the same set of jobs down the side. You've got the overview here, so you can take a quick look at it. And this will be open to you. Now we've got the gap and effort and the commentary that we've just done, and we can start to build plans of action. So there's this one here is the. I might need to change this and re-rank the jobs. So this is in the sequence of the jobs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than the sequence of recommendations, like easy to hardest. So I might reorder the selected jobs. But here you can see.
But is there even easy to hardest, or those 3 were just in one group and that's it? The 3 of them were like equally easy.
Why does that come up with ignore? That's not great. That shouldn't happen.
Should you tick them again?
No, we've already pushed them forwards. Something's gone wrong there, so I need to go and take a look at that. The ranking here try reloading it, see if it. No. So we. There we go. Weird. So the way this works is to look at the importance. So if it's unimportant, it won't put it in their score anyway. If it is important, then if it's low gap, it will get promoted higher up on the list here. So this is ranking.
So there are there's quick wins and there's 6, 6, 3. No, but 4.
Yeah, it's less about that. It's more about
they have
red and yellow. So it's looking and saying, in this one here, we've got a gap and we've got some effort.
Yeah.
So therefore,
yeah,
it'll be harder to get than something where there's no gap and no effort. And so it's ranking it on the effort that you're going to put in. But the difference is that this is a different order of jobs. So this is ranked on the effort versus what you serve today. Whereas in the jobs tab, it's whatever the algorithm spat out as 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we coded. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in this one here, I guess sort of just looking at it, I dig in. I'm not sure. I think where I've given you view only access, you may or may not be able to make the plans. But in here, you can then say have a look. So the various jobs that we're targeting. You can have a look at what we've just ranked, so the gap and the effort and whatever commentary we've given. And then we can start to make a plan to, are we going after this particular facet? What's the plan? Who's the owner? When's it gone? So it's a bit of a way of driving out a set of tasks and activities that you're going to do. I just need this selected job.
I don't have the plus buttons which you have, but
Okay.
to be honest, to me, I would probably, this feels more like you are also filling the project management kind of tool here, which to me would be I rather okay, this are the things I want to do, so I put this in my schedule, my to-do lists, and then or it's important to have the updates here. Okay, I have implemented this, then we
for me
something.
it's just having a location to house these things in, and some of them will be tests that we run, and then we'll just have a space to capture the tests, the results, the outcomes, and to sort of iterate through. So that's the only reason to do this. There's also, and I'm going to click this and hope like hell that my last update worked. So let's see what we get. But I'm not getting anything. Yeah, no, it's cocked up. So in this one here, what I want to do, this customer journey timeline should be, it's broken. Never mind. What we'll start to build here is a list of things. So what are people doing, thinking, and feeling in the different stages? So before they join the course, when they realize they've got a problem to solve, as they start to explore what it is, how do they learn about this, how do they make a decision, what's their experience and their reflection. So you basically just build a customer journey board here, which should start to help us work out where to place your marketing messaging, and how do you reach more people who have this job in the first place. So this one here is probably a lot more, I use it in the B2B stuff, but we'll build hopefully a nice looking journey panel when this crap up.
But that's all. Does it just take the transcript and all the data and with some logic kind of makes it, or this is a manual work, or we gather more data? What's how it's built?
It's manual, and let me have a look. What have I got here? So this is right. Sorry, I'll share. Let me go and find something so I can show you how I've used it before. So this is what I'm trying to replicate inside the app now. Right, here we go. So hopefully you can see a Miro board now. So in the old way of working, we had these 5 different jobs, and the details are in here. And then in these blue boxes, you can see the yellows and the reds. effectively that's replacing the exercise we've just done. So you've got all the demand facets. If it's medium difficulty, it's yellow. If it's hard, it's red. If there's a big gap, it's red. And so from this, we eyeballed it and said, well, this third job here, there's the fewest yellows, so therefore it's the one that we want to go after. And it was also something that we were already doing, so so we went for that. And then down here, I've got this this group called Forget the Funnel were the ones who did this, and so my columns should all be labelled like this. But what are the stages that people are doing? Where do you find people? So when somebody first realizes they've got a problem they want to solve, what channel are they discovering it on? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? Is it email? Is it whatever Substack? And this was
so
for,
a lot of marketing ideas for particular people, essentially.
Yeah. So what we do? So in this one here, it was to do with people who buy digital transformation consulting. And what happens is their IT and procurement team go and get some vendor, and they're usually sort of the cheapest or the biggest scale vendor that they can get. And then somebody from the business has to go and work with them. And so there's a system selected. And at the time that they do this, they're thinking, how hard can it be? It's like, it's a bit like when I started launching this new app. It's like, how hard can it be to do that? And so there's optimism, excitement, etc. But then as they go into their meetings, things happen in this case that cause them to want more help. So they've got a difficult meeting, their milestones are missing, people say no. And so
but this is something like I'm like, we will build that manually from the data we have, or that's something like we will update as well. Like a new person will join, they will fill in the survey. It's like, oh, cool. For example, if we would not know this, but Knife said that he downloaded my wallpaper package, which actually gave me the idea I could like promote this really well on Instagram with like those automated comments, click wallpapers and I will send you a DM, and then there's a prompt in that thing, and a lot of people kind of entry in my world through that. And I put those data in as I like live and gather new stuff as well, or this is purely from the stuff we have interviewed?
Yeah, this is manual and it's from the stuff that we've interviewed. And the reason I've panned out is the jobs here, the 1 to 5. If I ask some questions to somebody who's stone cold, never talked to before, brand new prospect, I can ask them about their context and desired outcomes, and I can learn, you're more likely to be interested in 1 or 5 or whatever. And so that tells me which of these jobs I'm talking, and so therefore what should I prioritize when I talk to you about it. Whereas the timeline here is a prototypical one based on everybody who joins this. So then I can ask you, if I think you're in this job here, have you selected a system already? Like, have you had a first difficult, like, where are you in the timeline? And therefore, what sort of collateral do you need to move further from not realizing the problem through to buying, and then does it help? And for us in this one here, go ahead.
And from the interviews that you interviewed, you asked those questions in such ways that you feel you have all this information.
Yeah, we've got this to build this. Like, it's just a case of building it. I can start building them and show you one of them. And then if you want to join and do the others, we can do it. But hopefully what it does is it gives you ideas about where to place your marketing. So in this case here, in the world of my other business, there's a very specific type of software. And the market for it is small enough that we know pretty much every company that's in the market buying it, and we know when they're buying. And we know that about 70% of these projects fail. And so therefore, if you've just bought one, there's a 70% probability you're going to enter this job. And so therefore, I can go and reach out to you, and I can send you the messaging to target at the point where you're actually experiencing the problem, and you're much more likely to trust me and want to come and buy from me. So it's kind of a bit more surgical.
This is crazy. This is honestly, if this like, if we map this out, this is insane, because then we talked about like the free newsletter, where we drip content to people, how I approach newsletter stuff, which I like. It essentially would like create the newsletter. I know the things I want to target, and then I just write the newsletter for that, and I like write the ads at the right step, and like, yeah, it honestly does feel like if you map this out and if you target the right people, say the right things, it's just inevitable to make a lot of money, hopefully.
Yeah, the way I use this, if I scale back out, like people message me on WhatsApp and ask about the course that I sell, so different to this particular set of jobs, and I ask them 2 questions, and within 2 questions, I know, are they in the right job? So, you know, are they buying what I'm selling? And I know where on this timeline are they? And then I have just in my notes, like iPhone thing, a list of links and crap, and I just copy and paste it into the chat, because there's something that's designed for somebody who's trying to work out, you know, do I have a problem? Is this something I want to chase? So I built this long form comparison of different certifications that you could get. And if you're trying to work out, should I do this or not, this is the article for you. Whereas if you've already bought this book and you're struggling with it, maybe you're thinking, can I pass the exam? So I've got this free quiz that I can send to people. It's like gives them a bit of confidence that, yeah, maybe I can do it, or, you know, this is an approach. Or if they're way past that already and they're trying to decide they're up here, then I can send them over, well, here's what you could buy, and here's the other alternative. So it just makes my messaging much crisper, because it's teaching you what you need to know to make progress and get to this purchase event. Or to not.
Do you find? Yeah, sorry. Do you find the WhatsApp button like used and useful for closing leads?
Yeah. Yes. It was one of the better things that I did. I did it not because I was trying to sell stuff. I was trying to learn how people bought and where the problems were in my process. So it was really useful for getting rid of anxieties. And I saw you've got an FAQ page, and what I was trying to communicate in their last video is most people's FAQs are answering questions that they want to tell people, rather than answering questions that real customers have. The anxieties people have are the questions that you should answer. So it's not for me, or like, I'm no good at art. Don't worry, you know, any idiot can do this, maybe a testimonial or something like that. So I used it to generate a better FAQ, because in the FAQ I've got on the page now is every question that I was ever asked. And now, you know, you've got the answers there. But then also, you know, I had somebody message me the other day, 2 questions, 1 quick response back and a link, and she signed up to the top tier because she was exactly in the job.
That's awesome. I think I will do this, because I feel like WhatsApp, like, it gives a little bit of, oh, there's a real human behind it. That's like one thing I think, which just doesn't, it's just like, some people need like an extra nudge, you know, clicking that buy button is a big deal, but they might just WhatsApp. Awesome. I'll add that as well. Probably to the pricing plans at the below, like little button or something, like WhatsApp me if you have questions or something. Yep.
And then just capture all of it, because whatever the questions are, like, they ask a question, but they don't. It's the right way to phrase it. So what people ask is not really what they want to know. But if you kind of interact with them and find out what is it you really trying to understand, then you can just build. I think I had like a Google sheet with all the different questions. I shoved it through ChatGPT, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, what do people want? And you had a bunch of categories, and that made a better FAQ. I'll go and dig out the
I did
track
for myself, like you wrote the anxieties. I just threw them in the ChatGPT. I said, what are like the common anxieties? Tell, like, give me top 5, because I didn't have a lot of time, so I just made a little FAQ, but I will build it up. But yeah, I'll do that. But I think the WhatsApp button can actually like help both to understand new insights, but like actually to close the leads, because it's just a little bit more human, a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people really don't expect it, so they message you, and you know, I've got like an auto message back, but then they actually get a human. And you've seen I often record just voice notes and stuff like that, because if it's a difficult conversation or question, I may as well just speak. And it's like, oh wow, I didn't think it was going to be a real person. You know, I thought it was going to be some shitty AI chatbot, and so it does seem to help. I don't know what, and it helps me because I get to learn what real people don't understand. So that's the most important thing. How do you get friction
That's
out
cool.
of your
That's
page?
cool.
So
I'll definitely do that. I think, yeah, people really, that's a common theme I get. Like, also, like, on, I don't know, even if people share my stuff on Instagram, a story,
Yep.
I send them like a little message just back, thank you for sharing my work. And they're like, holy shit, like, because I know feeling. I remember when I had 0 followers, if
Yeah.
person with like 4,000 or 5,000 followers reply, I'm like, holy shit, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you are a real human. Do you have time? Like, and that's
Yeah.
like a big deal.
No, that's good. And that's cool. So you'll be able to layer that stuff in. So I'll build out
awesome. This is so useful. So useful.
one of the journeys, but then as you build it, it gives you, it's like a lot of this stuff. None of this is answers. A lot of this is better questions. And so you're like, what if I did X? Because and all of a sudden you can see an opportunity to do it, and off you go. And sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't, which is why you've got the test tab in the app as well. Because if it doesn't work, learn from it, and if it does, keep doing it.
Yeah, this is great. This was amazing. I made some really useful notes for myself. I'll try today, probably today evening. Again, need to do some freelance, just burning with some stuff. I'll make few tweaks to the landing page. I will probably add the WhatsApp stuff and few other things. And maybe not today, maybe tomorrow we'll push at least to the wait list. Not like big email blast all my 20K or whatever people, but like just to the wait list and see the response and then kind of continue tweaking. And next week can probably meet and maybe continue this. But it's been so useful. I have some really concrete things and I'm like very excited. I have a sense this could lead to more money.
I'm banking on it because I'm publishing this live. So if it doesn't work, I'm going to look like a bit of a tit.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I think the only thing is like that this was working before in some regard, so it's like, will those results be more? But I have a feeling. I'm just like yesterday, some random person joined from Netherlands, for 500 tier, and like the fact that we have done all of this is the reason I raised prices. And if I would have my old deal back on, it would 3 people buying the tier would equal to pretty much the same amount of money which I made now with one sale. So it's already doing interesting things, and I just I'm curious. I think the pricing plans were a good idea. The WhatsApp stuff and a few other things I'll tweak. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't want to waste more of your time. How went your thing yesterday?
Oh yeah, no, it was good. I caught up with the guy. In the end, he was looking for a job, so he'd only just got one, so it was just a catch up and some beers. So not a bad thing. Just meet somebody new and make a new connection. Because often you connect to people on LinkedIn or whatever, and then you go and meet them in person. It's a completely different experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. Done it with a few of my students as well. All right, Neil. Thank you so much. Let's just stay in chat. I'm sorry for being like tremendously busy these days. I'm really like pushing myself to the limit.
Don't worry. So I will send you over some suggested copy for the 3 pieces. I'll put some thought into it tonight and scribble around some notes. I'll drop you that over tomorrow anyway, and up to you if you want to use it or throw it away, tweak it.
Sure, like if you can, that would be amazing. Thank you.
All right, and then next week I'm heading over to the UK anyway, so I'll be on your time zone a bit more.
Oh, sweet. For how long you will be in UK?
I am there until the 9th of November. So I'm over there. There's a workshop that some people I know are going to, and Bob's speaking at that. And then I'd never met him before, so I get the chance to catch up. And he was kind enough and crazy enough to invite me to join him. He's teaching some of his stuff at Cambridge University on the Friday, so I'm going to go and be his teaching. So I'm going to have to brush up and improve my teaching style, I think, because I've got some big shoes to fill. So yeah, that'd be cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. If you are working on the slides and if you're struggling with some visuals, please ping me.
Yeah, no, I will do, and I'll point Bob in your way as well. I think he likes this sort of stuff, so I'm sure he'd be keen to to improve his own communications. He's one of the communicators and teachers of the world, and I'm bloody glad I met him.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. All right, thank you so much. Have a sick day. Let's chat.
Love it.
Thank you.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.